Father of all of us. I give honors to his and our holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, who did come to us in due time to bring us this old-time religion and everlasting gospel. I've always heard the older members say in due time. What is due time? Due time means that he came giving us enough time to get ourselves together so that we can help get others together. And that means me, you, and everybody in this room. There are many who have started out with the prophet and left. There are many who have started out with the prophet, left, and came back. But if you decide to leave now, the prophet did say, you come back if I let you.
That's all.
Everybody that walks away and walks out of these doors and decides that they're going to do something else, even if they want to come back, the prophet might not let them come back. So we have to think before we move. Do what the prophet said. I was one of those that walked away for a little while, and the prophet did let me come back, and I am grateful that he did.
Islam.
I give honor to everything that the prophet brought to us. I give honor to the charter, which bears on it the 10 wonders of the world. I give honor to the two flags combined, the American flag under which we were born, the Moorish flag, the red flag with the 5-pointed green star in the center. Those 5 points representing our 5 ancient and divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give honor to the materials, the literature that he brought us, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the questionnaire that I've heard many call the 101, but the prophet called it a questionnaire, and the laws and constitution that the prophet diligently laid out for us to use. I give honor to my brother and sister Muslims, Sheikhs, visitors, and friends. Islam. I am grateful for the opportunity to come and speak with you. The prophet said that he cannot save us. He said he can't save us. Even in the song that we sing, we say, come to Allah and he will save you. Believe the prophet and he will guide you. The prophet said, but if I can get you to thinking, you will save yourselves. We hear a lot in the press, and the prophet said, watch the presses. He said, we see a lot in the press about thoughts being things and how we can manifest with our thoughts. That's not a secret. It came in a book recently called The Secret, but the prophet gave us this secret in 1913. He gave us this secret. And one place in the Quran where this secret is talked about is in chapter 12. Jesus teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness. When you think of eternal happiness, he's not talking about the 7 + 2 years that they say that the Bible promises us. He's talking about even past that time. He's talking about eternal. And none of us are going to have these bodies eternally. We're not even going to have our souls eternally. The only thing that is eternal about us is the spirit. And the spirit is our higher self, that part of Allah that chose a soul and a body. We spend but minutes in the frame of time. We spend but minutes on this earth as human beings. But we spend an eternity. We spend an eternity as humans, as man, as woman. The prophet teaches us that time never was when man was not. Man existed. Although scientists tell you, well, man and the dinosaurs didn't exist at the same time. Yeah, we did. We just weren't manifest at that time. But man existed then. Because man existed. Man is a thought of Allah. And since we are thoughts of Allah, we exist as long as Allah exists.
That's right.
And that is eternally. Eternally. There are some people who believe that there's a heaven and that there's a hell. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes as I read this chapter. But we have to remember that we control our lives with our thoughts, not with money, not with friends, not with positions, homes, cars, or any of that stuff. We get that stuff from our thoughts. From our thoughts. Beginning at verse 1 on page 21 for those who want to follow along. In silent meditation, Jesus sat beside a flowing spring. It was a holy day, and many people of the servant caste were near the place. Jesus at this time was in India. And in India at that time, there was a caste system. There were 4 major castes. There was the, okay, help me out here.
The ruling class and the servant class.
There was the working caste. These were your farmers. There was the royalty, and there were the priests. And the priests were the highest caste that you could be in. The royalty was the next highest. The next was the farmers, the workers, the people who did the everyday things, and then the lowest caste. And this is the caste that the prophet is talking about right here. Many people of the servant caste. These were servants. They were considered in some instances as untouchables. And the thing about the society of that land at that time was that you couldn't marry up. I mean, you see in American news and in British news of someone who marries up. I think, what is her name? Kate married a prince, and she was a commoner. But in this society, in that society at that time, it didn't matter who saw you, you couldn't mingle with those people. You could only mingle with others within your caste. You could only live among others who were in that caste. And these were the people who did the dirtiest of jobs. These were the people that nobody else wanted around except to do their jobs, to clean up their slop jars or whatever else they had that needed to be done. And Jesus saw the hard-drawn lines of toil on every brow, in every hand, and there was no look of joy in any face. Not one of all the group could think of anything but toil. Now, you would think, if you had never seen this chapter before, oh yeah, Jesus is going to get them now. He's going to tell them to rebel. He's going to tell them to march on Benares and get out there and tell them, yes, we shall overcome. But Jesus didn't tell them that. He said, Jesus spoke to one and said, why are you all so sad? Have you no happiness in life? The man replied, we scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live and hope for nothing else but toil. And bless the day when we can cease our toil and lay down to rest in Buddha's city of the dead. And Jesus' heart was stirred with pity and with love for these poor toilers. And he said, toil should not make a person sad. See, this is where the secret comes in. He said, men should be happiest when they toil. Be happy for what you have. These people in this caste had a place to live. They had families that hopefully loved them and that they loved. They had to get up every morning and toil and work. And that was difficult, but it's still something that they had. He said, be happy with what you got. Don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Be glad for what you do have. Many of us, all of us have homes, I hope. We have homes, we have clothes, we have cars. Some of us don't have cars. I don't have a car, but I don't worry about not having a car. I don't worry about not having a car. But I think about what I have to be grateful for. The prophet even dedicated an entire chapter to gratitude. And when I have taught children in our Sunday school, I have them make a gratitude alphabet gratitude list, starting with A and going to Z, and write down a list of the things that they are grateful for. A, I'm grateful for Allah. B, I'm grateful for my beauty. C, I'm grateful for carrots, even though I don't like them and my mama makes me eat them. I'm grateful for it. And I have to tell you, I learned more from these children than I taught them that day, because there was a child in that Sunday school that came up that he was grateful for carrots, even though he didn't like them, but his mama made him eat them anyway. Because that shows that these children are thinking. And this is what the prophet said: if I can get you thinking, you can save yourself. Even if you don't like carrots, you can still save yourselves. And this child knew this on a level. The child might not have been able to say it, but the child knew it on a level, on a child's level. Children know more than we know. Trust me. Children know more than we know. When we teach our children, we're teaching ourselves things that we have forgotten. We're teaching ourselves things that we have forgotten. And he said, we toil to live, but think of nothing else but toil. And Jesus said, verse 6, toil should not make a person sad. Men should be happiest when they toil. And when hope and love are back of toil, then all of life is filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know that such a heaven is for you? And the man replied, of heaven we've heard, but it is so far away, and we must live so many lives before we reach that place. And Jesus said, my brother man, your thoughts are wrong. And this is another thing that I really love about Jesus and the prophet. The prophet didn't say, where did you get that from? Who told you that? Why are you saying stupid stuff like that? He said simply, your thoughts are wrong. And Jesus said, my brother man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away. It is not a place of meats and bounds. It is not a country to be reached. Everybody say it? It is a state of mind. And a state of mind means it's how you think about your situation. I don't have a car. Oh, woe is me. I can't get anywhere. Well, there's buses, there's Pace, there's friends and family. And I got 2 feet on healthy legs. Well, sometimes, most of them. Yes, healthy legs. So, and this is how I get about. This is how I get from point A to point B. I've had students tell me, well, I couldn't come to school yesterday because my car broke down. But I had to get it fixed. Okay, get your car fixed. But why can't you take the car to the shop, come to school, and then go and pick it up after school? There are ways to do things. Don't let a broke down car keep you from living your life. Don't let a not having a car keep you from living your life. Live your life. Be grateful that you have a car, even if it is broken down. Be grateful for carrots, even if you don't like them and your mama makes you eat them anyway. Be grateful for what you have. And what do you have? And Jesus said, what? Your thoughts are wrong. When we change our thoughts, we change our lives. And I've heard people say, and you can say it all you want to, well, me thinking about it ain't gonna make me have a job. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, yes, it can. Because when you go to that job interview with the knowledge of what that job entails, what that company does with that knowledge, and you speak intelligently and have in your thoughts, this is my job, it works in your favor. And while you might not get that specific job, In your next interview, you're prepared. You are more prepared. You don't let it get you down that you missed that job. You let it build you up that you got good practice in an interview. And your next interview is going to be better. Think in a positive way. Pray in a positive way. When we find ourselves afflicted with illness, very often I hear people say, wow, I'm doing pretty good today, and I sure hope, I pray to God that I don't have a relapse. That's not the way to pray. You pray that I continue, that my health continues to improve. Because when you pray, I hope that I don't have a relapse, you're putting that out on the ethers. And the ethers are strong. They hear and they feel your thoughts. Thoughts are things. And the ethers know what your thoughts are. And if you put out there the idea of a relapse, the ethers say, oh, this one wants a relapse. Well, we'll make sure she gets it. Instead, we pray for continued improvement of health. And you know what happens? And I can tell you this from my own experience. What happens is that you draw to you people who can tell you what foods to eat, what herbs to take, what to put in your food, what to take out of your food. These people will be drawn to you. And the thing is, we're not thinking, wow, my prayer has been answered. We're thinking, wow, I never thought of that before. But it's our thoughts that bring those people to us. When we think in terms of, oh, I can't live in that neighborhood, it's nothing but gangs and robbers and drugs. You have suddenly brought all of that to where you live now, even if you haven't seen it before. Think in terms of, well, if I have to live there for a little while, I'll do the best that I can. And you put that on the ethers, and the ethers brings back to you what is the best that you can do. What is the best? Don't draw to yourself those things you don't want by praying in a negative way. Pray in a positive way. If you want a good day for a picnic, you don't say, I sure hope it don't rain today. Because you put on the ethers, she wants rain. And what happens? It's a raining picnic. It rains on your parade. It rains on your picnic. But you put on the ethers, it's a beautiful day for a picnic. It's a great day for school. We tell our children, don't you bring me no more bad grades. We tell them that. And what do? Okay, my parents told us, and I know my sister can attest to it, they told us, you can do better than that. And my father would say, why do you think you got a C? Because if we brought home a C, we might as well have brought home an F. But why did you get a C? Well, I didn't know. My father would say, did anybody get a B? And if you said yes, he would say, if anybody else in that class got a B, you can get a B too. And if you said no, then he said you can be the first. You can be the first. We don't let our children get away with, I just don't know, I just don't understand. You hear me, children? I see there's some children in here. You do your best. If you don't understand it, ask your teacher. And if your teacher can't make you understand it, ask your big sister, or your cousin, or whoever it is that can help you, or your parents. Well, I know that I had difficulty helping my children with the new math, so I got them a tutor that could help them understand the parts of these math problems that I couldn't understand. We don't leave them out there to swim. We don't toss them in the water and say, okay, now swim. We give them as much help. The prophet said, the being thou hast produced, it is thy to support. And support doesn't mean just money and clothes and shelter. It means all of that, but it also means supporting their ideas, supporting their education, making sure that they understand what's right and what's wrong in this world. And make them understand that it's best. What that old song says, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. And the prophet said, if I can get you, you can
Save yourself.
you can save yourselves. And in this chapter, this is what the prophet is talking about. And Jesus said, my brother man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away, and it is not a place of metes and bounds. It is not a country to be reached. It is a state of mind. Allah never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and make our own. Now cease to seek for heaven in the sky and just open up the windows of your hearts, and like a flood of light, a heaven will come and bring a boundless, I like that word, boundless, a boundless joy. And then the toil will be no cruel task. He didn't say go and march on some major city. Don't go up to the priests and tell them I don't like this situation. Make the best of the situation. Make the best of the situation. The people were amazed and gathered close to hear this strange young master speak. Because you have to remember that when Jesus was in India, he was a very young man. He went to India at the age of 12 with, and I'm just learning this new pronunciation, Ravana. Am I saying it right? Ravana. Because we've been saying Ravana all these years. And Jesus was 12 years old then when he went to India. He was a very young man when he was sitting at this spring, imploring him to tell them more about the Father God Allah, about the heaven that men can make on earth, about the boundless joy. And Jesus spoke a parable. He said, a certain man possessed a field. The soil was hard and poor. By constant toil, he scarcely could provide enough food to keep his family from want. One day, a miner who could see beneath the soil in passing on his way saw this poor man and his unfruitful field. He called the weary toiler and said, my brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field, rich treasures lie concealed? Now this man had never thought about digging for treasure in his field. He was thought about planting seeds and making food so that his family could eat, so that he and his family could eat. So maybe they could take some of this food to the market and earn some money so that they can buy materials to make clothes with.
That's right.
But these are the things that we have to think about. So I don't have a job. There is a job for me.
That's right.
There is a job for you. Believe me, trust me, there is. He called the weary toiler and said, my brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field, rich treasures lie concealed? You plow and sow and reap in a scanty way, and day by day you tread upon a mine of gold and precious stones. What's he telling him? He's saying, don't just scrape the surface.
That's right.
Get down under those pebbles. Get down under that clay and see what's there. Don't spend your days just scraping the top. Go down inside. This wealth is not upon the surface of the ground, but if you will but dig away the rocky soil and delve down deep into the earth, you need no longer till the soil for naught. He wasn't going to find necessarily vegetables. He wasn't going to find trees and olive trees, but what was he going to find? He was going to find real treasures, jewels, diamonds, rubies, whatever the jewels of the day were. The man believed, the miner surely knows, and I will find the treasures hidden in my field. And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth he found a mine of gold. And Jesus said, the sons of men are toiling hard on desert plains. and burning sands and rocky soils, doing what their fathers did, not dreaming that they could do aught else. What did some of our fathers say to us? Why are you going to college and trying to get some career? Go to the post office and get a job like I did. But some of those careers are lucrative. Some of those careers will bring in more than the post office. The post office is the sure thing. You got a job. You get a job at the post office, hey, you're done. You're set for life. But if you go for that career, you might be set for life, set your mama for life, set your children for life, and so forth and so on. Don't settle. Don't settle. Behold, the master comes and tells them of the hidden wealth, that underneath the rocky soil of carnal things. What's carnal things? Our bodies are carnal things.
Right.
Okay? And he's telling us that don't depend on these bodies for our living, but depend on spirit, on our thoughts for our living. And underneath the rocky soil of carnal things are treasures that no man can count. That in the heart, the riches, gems abound, and that he who wills, that's an important word, he who wills, he who wills may open the door and find them all. One of the principles of traditional Islam is getting our wills in tune with the will of Allah. Because sometimes our wills are way up. Sometimes our wills are way up. But those things that Allah wants for us, and he said that he supports his creatures from generation to generation. He says that in the chapter on religion. There's no need for us to live in poverty other than it's what we desire. We don't have to live in poverty.
Right.
We don't. Poverty is like heaven and hell. Poverty is a state of mind.
Right.
It's a state of mind. Okay, so I don't have 2 nickels to rub together today. Tomorrow is a different day. Meditate on feeding our families. Meditate on feeding ourselves. And we will draw that to us. Put that on the ethers. Not I'm so cold. I had a lady friend who was joking because her house had been burglarized, and she said when they came in there and saw how poor I was, they left stuff for me. But that's a joke. It doesn't manifest in that way. But we have to stop thinking of ourselves as poverty-stricken. We have to stop thinking, boy, I sure would like to go to Miami, but I just ain't got the money. I'm telling you a little story. Some of you have heard it. There was a lady on my job who was sponsoring a cruise. And I told her I would really love to go, but I just can't afford it right now. And I went back to my desk and I said, what did you just tell that woman? What did you just tell her? I went back to her and said, I don't know how, but I'm going on that cruise. And guess what? I went on that cruise. When I went back to my cubicle, after telling her I don't know how, because what we need to do is put our mind on the goal and let the ethers take care of the space between our thoughts and the goal. When I got back to my cubicle, I sat down. 2 men were standing near my cubicle and said how I could get the money to go on that cruise. They weren't talking to me. They were talking to each other. But I did what they said, and I went on that cruise, and I enjoyed that cruise. We have to stop saying, I can't afford it. And because I have been studying this, I knew that what I told her was wrong. And I immediately went back and told her, I'm going on that cruise. I don't know how, but I'm going on that cruise. And the ethers helped me find the way. The prophet said, he who hears is still. I was sitting in my cubicle. I was still, and I heard these two men speaking to one another about a way that they saved money. And it was a way that I could definitely save some money. And I did. And I went on that cruise and had a ball. Yes, I did. I enjoyed that cruise. That in the heart, the richest gems abound. And that he who wills, I will that trip for myself, may open the door and find them all. And then the people said, make known to us the way that we can find the wealth that lies within the heart. And Jesus opened up the way. The toilers saw another side of life, and toil became a joy. They were still toilers. They still got up every morning and cleaned other people's messes. They still got up in the morning and did the jobs that other people didn't want to do. But their attitude, their thoughts, made it more pleasant for them to do. And this is what I'm hoping that I am imparting here today, is that you can change your life by changing your thoughts. Peace.
Peace.